Well, good morning. I hope you had a great weekend. We're back to building here, and I got a chance over the weekend to try to iron out some of the issues that were causing our tracery on our window to not rebuild, the tracery that we built last week, and I think I got it. I think I got it working. So that's a good thing. There's obviously many things to tweak, but the basic stuff seems to be running. And in the process, I've been relearning the very complicated systems that I have going on here. There are a lot of interlocking systems. The problem I'm really running into is how to document it, because I don't actually remember what everything does or how everything interacts. The whole idea was actually so I wouldn't really have to remember what every feature does or how it interacts, because they were supposed to kind of stand on their own and be kind of obvious and useful on their own. But that kind of, predictably didn't happen. So it's been a lot of relearning different systems and things like that I've made, and I still don't know why some things are happening. So, for example, why my sort of underlying landscape isn't showing up here, why I've just got kind of a view through to blue sky, which isn't unpleasant, but is really, and it's kind of poetic that you can see the blue sky through the open graves here, I suppose, but it's not really the intended appearance. So there's a few things to kind of pursue this morning. We're going to try to figure out how to get this landscape back in, and I'm going to show you how far I've got on the tracery rebuild process that we kind of had to end at on Friday morning. So that's where we're going. If you want to pop into the chat and say hi, that'd be great. Love to say hello, but obviously you can just hang out and work on your own stuff while I'm working on this stuff too. So I'll show you where we're at. So we built two pieces of tracery. We built two tracery windows last week, and the idea was to get them into the game so that when you rebuild this section of the tower, this big open west window, you get a chance to choose what type of window you're going to build. And so we had to hook up a whole bunch of other systems at the same time and to try to get things reacting. So we had to get the landscape dissolving when you clicked on any of these tower ruin fragments. And then we have to get a few other things interacting with each other. And so that's working now. So I'm pleased to report that's working. So let's go click on a fragment of the tower, for example. So there we go. The landscape's disappearing, which is great. That's what we want. And it reveals all of the rubble here. And then we go through a rebuild animation. So that's going to come up here in a minute. So let's rebuild part of the tower. Let's rebuild that west wall that's highlighted there. So we rebuild that. And then, here in just a moment, you're going to start seeing a thing flashing. So, oh, look at this. This little thing down here is flashing. Wonder what that is. So that's supposed to draw your attention. And eventually there's some audio involved with it and everything, but I've got that turned off for now. So a little thing is flashing there. So if we click on that, it is not, in fact, a small capital. It does not, in fact, look like this. And really what we need to see is our tracery artifact appearing here, but it doesn't yet. Not artifact, but see, we don't have any artifacts in our collection yet. But a building fragment. This was just placeholder stuff. So the next thing we need to do is get out of the inventory, because no, that's the escape key. And when we get out of the inventory, we see, wow, magically, what's going on there in the windowsill? What is that? And then if we hover over it, suddenly something appears, and that's what's pretty cool to see. And look, there's our tracery window, and we've got these two dots, and one dot's bigger than the other. So if we mouse scroll up, or if we use one of the arrow keys on the keyboard, maybe it's not, I can't remember which key it is, but anyway, if we use the scroll wheel, we can see that we can actually kind of go between ghosted versions of our tracery, which is pretty cool. And then if we click on one of them, so let's click on our reticulated tracery because it's the nicest looking. Everybody loves that. No one's going to choose the perpendicular tracery, and that's fine. If we do that, it builds up. Doesn't quite get there before the replacement gets stuck in place. So we got to think about the timing on that. But anyway, it's built. It's finally built in place. And I think it looks rather lovely, actually, in place. which is pretty cool. So I'm very pleased with that. So, and then we can go along and we can keep rebuilding our tower. So there's one part of the tower, and here comes the next part of the tower. And actually, I don't know what's going to happen after we rebuild the whole tower. There goes that. Oh, there's another object that's appeared for us right here. I wonder what that is. That's actually a capital. So now we have two capitals. See, and this one has magically appeared. So there's something wrong, because I have, this text is pulled from a database. It looks like it's pulled from the old database. I don't quite understand what's going on here. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool. So there we go. There's the capital. That's supposed to be our tracery fragment. So yeah, what's up with that? I don't know. Because this tracery fragment is supposed to have actually the exact same thing going on there. So we need to look and see what we've discovered. But anyway, there it is. That's pretty cool. So that's done something, although it hasn't done something right away, but that's okay. And if we hover over this, we get two different types of rebuilding. Let's do a Romanesque build. Why not? We zoom out, and kind of miracle of miracles, we're allowed to rebuild the second stage of this tower, which is kind of amazing. So that's cool. I didn't think that was going to happen. So that's pretty neat. So we're back into rebuilding this building, which is neat. And we should get a third level. We do have a third level now, so that's cool. Ooh, we've got to put some tracery. We've got to put some tracery in there. We sure do. We got to put tracery in that window opening. And it's going to be perpendicular tracery, because that's how old that part is. So that's one that's on the to-do list. But anyway, there's our little bit of tracery, and then this is going to cause trouble, because what we should be getting to now is that this overburden of topsoil should have disappeared, and we should be getting some rebuild options going on here, but I think I've turned all that stuff off. So, oh yeah, there's a little flame standing there, and another thing to click on. If we click on that, we get our first artifact. And we get to do stuff. And we're running into trouble now. Anyway, okay, so it's run to beach ball, which means there's some sort of loop I've pushed everything into, which is lovely, and we really shouldn't have done that. But we got pretty far before we got into some sort of memory leak, some sort of infinite loop. Anyway, that's pretty good. Got further than I thought we would. So there's a few things to check out, of course. It's pretty rough around the edges, but the fact that, you know, what we tried to do, the content we put in the game that we built last week is now more or less functioning is, you know, that's exciting. So, one step forward, two steps back. That's the way things go. I don't know what's gotten into the loop here, but we got to kill this program. So, let's do it. Let's see. Come on. Anyway, let's see if we can get out of here. Go back down to our Finder. Boy, it's really not letting us do that. So fantastic. So we gotta kill this guy. Sorry to say. So I don't even know what I did. And that's going to be an interesting thing to try to figure out. Yeah, let's kill that. All right. So, we got something going though. So that's pretty exciting. So we'll have to see what happened with all of that. So we'll fire Unity back up again. And there are a number of things to think about here. Kind of wish I knew why. Kind of wish I knew why it went into the kind of infinite beach ball loop. And I could check the editor log in the console. I'm not sure it's going to give me much, especially now because it's probably too long after the fact now. But let's look at our log reports. Here's our editor log. It's down here. Building the light map. All that kind of stuff's great. Collecting enlightened data. That's Unity. We need to seek some. Maybe it's not the editor log. Maybe it's the player log. Anyway, I'm not going to find anything in here. I rarely do. All sorts of legacy stuff. Wish I kind of had a timestamp for this, but I don't. Okay. So that's the editor log. Where's my player log? Who knows? Well, anyway. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but that's okay. We'll keep moving on with this. We'll figure it out eventually. So what should we work on first? I'm kind of interested to see why that database entry isn't working and why we're not seeing the tracery fragment appear. So what does get returned when we query that tracery frag? So we got to press play. And we've got to clear the topsoil, rebuild this west wall of the tower. So here we go. That's cleared, west wall of the tower, rebuilt. Now, okay, so that has appeared. Great. This should, well, this isn't going to actually tell us just yet what our tracery fragment it is, but let's take a look here. Okay, now what do we have going on? Okay, so select everything from arc frags where frag ID equals 3. Yep. I'm just going to look in a couple of places here in my base scene. I'm going to be looking into our inventory model holder because all the models in the inventory are right here. And I'm just looking to make sure that it's in the correct layer, which it certainly is. Oh, it's got a revealed item behavior on it, though. We don't need that. And its mesh renderer is off, so that's part of the problem. Let's remove that component, and we don't need that component on there. There we go, that's one of the issues. And it's on, we don't need that either. Okay. And it's in the correct layer. This might be all we need. Let's find out. Let it start up again. There goes the topsoil. Here comes the west end. Here comes our tracery fragment. It's going to start blinking. Hey, there's our tracery fragment. Look at that. So, we do have it going. It just really shouldn't be saying a small capital, though. It should be saying a little bit more than that. So, where is my information that's in my canvas there? I just want to see what information it thinks it's supposed to be displaying in the text. So let's find that. So all it says is a small capital. It should be saying more. That looks like a database issue. Okay, that's good to know. So let's go look at our database and see what it says versus what I think it should say. Let's go find that. So, where are we here? That's where we are. We're going to get into that database. Okay, there's my database. It says I worked on it yesterday, so that is correct. Let's duplicate it. Let's change its change it to that. We do have Unity running. This is probably going to cause trouble. Oh well. We're not going to open this with QGIS, although that would be fun. Let's go find the database viewer. I can never remember what the name of our SQLite database viewer is. Here it is, database browser. Simple enough. Okay. You can't see this, so now you can. All right, we're going to look in the argfrags table. So we're in the argfrags table here, and it just says a small capital. Well, why does it just say that? I'm really sure I copied and pasted this all in. Okay, fine. Copy it. Paste it. Okay, now let's actually make this the correct text. Okay, let's put some flavor in here. That's stupid. Okay, let's try to come up with something else for this. Which supports the Let's leave it like that. There we go. Not new option. None of my saves worked. Because I didn't hit apply. That's why. I had something other than new options for rebuilding here. What was I going to say here instead of like new what was I going to say? This opens up new possibilities. There we go. And I want to take that little phrase, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to hit apply this time. Thank you very much, editor. Okay. Okay, so let's think about this now. So what's 25? Okay. Let me think about this. Where are we going back? We're going back to the year 1300. So 700. Yep. So 1300, 1400. So YBP, years before present. Okay, there we go. So we got a little bit of a date. We've changed some of that text. Okay, that's good. We need to come up with a different image, but right now we don't have one. I won't waste your time making one. So it's still going to look like the capital and not like the piece of tracery itself, but that's okay. We're closer than we were. It's hard to come up with an image because I've got to go in and render one out, and then I've got to stick it in a grid, and then I've got to update that atlas of images. It becomes complicated pretty quickly. So this one right here. So we will just leave it with the Norman capital right now as a placeholder. So let's see, write the changes to the database. Thank you very much. Okay, let's quit the database. Let's kill this. Let's bring this back up. Gotta rename it bytes. Okay, and then the last thing we've got to do is we're gonna copy this. I'm gonna put this away, move that to the trash, and then paste it back in place. So I always like to keep the most recent version of the database. I did a bad thing. I don't actually like to alter the database that's sitting inside the game project, especially when Unity's running, so we'll see if I just messed everything up. But I like to keep the most recent version just sitting right there on my desktop so I can grab it, because it's buried too far inside my Unity project here. But instead, we went backwards this time today, so whoops. So we'll see what I did to mess things up by doing it that way. Okay, let's jump in again and see if our changes were saved and if they will appear in the game. Okay. It is a very cold dawn here while we're waiting for the game to start up. Very cold. We got about 6 inches of snow over the weekend, and it has stayed really cold. It's a very chilly dawn. Okay, good. There's our little fragment. It has appeared. Look, Our text has appeared and there's our fragment. It's cute. Okay. We did it. Possibilities from the site. This opens up new possibilities. I'm going to have to change that possible stuff. Not to think of a different phrase. But anyway, look at that. That worked. So, hooray for us. We got that to work. Okay. Good. Very good. Okay, what next? Alright, so we have a problem with the timing. When we rebuild our tracery, we get the tracery fragments to rebuild, and that's cool. But the before they finish rebuilding, we actually get the whole object just appearing in the space. So there's something wrong with the timing on that one. This might be quite tricky to track down, but let's try to figure it out. Partially because I'm a couple other things to try to figure out. Maybe we won't track down that timing. I would really like to try to get this landscape actually back in place here, and showing up rather than just us seeing blue sky. So let's try to do that too. Our current date is set correctly here, so that's nice. But I wonder what our date is everywhere else. Okay, we got our time travel cheater. That's great. We don't want to use that right now. We'll turn that off. Just trying to figure out what our date is, and I may have to jump into Grand Central and figure our date out there. Save and load system. The data collector, active end of the worm holds 2500. Yes, that's great. All of that kind of stuff looks fine. But I may have the date hard-coded somewhere. I have this horrible suspicion that I do have the date hard-coded, and I had the date at like minus 10,000 or something like that. So let's go into the Grand Central and see if I've got a date hard-coded into here. Current date 2500. Let's see. Current date equals data collector active end of the wormhole date. So let's go look at that. Let's go look at my data collector. So let's keep looking around here. I may not actually have any landscape that is from 2500 too. I may need to set that up. Let's see, where are we here? That's 2500 as well. Well, let's go in and look and see. There's a few other things I need to turn off as well. I need to turn off the landscape, the old landscape. It's still showing up. So let's try to figure that one out as well. Let's go to the parish church models, the tower area group. Not that. Tower topsoil. That's our real topsoil now. We've got to figure out which piece of our old landscape is still turning on. So we're gonna play the game again. We'll just put it on play because it's going to appear at that time. I know you can't tell, but there it is. So if we pause it, let's start having a look around. Oh, we just have, I wonder if it's not actually active, if what all we're seeing, it isn't active. What we're actually seeing is we're sectioning through our landscape. That's what's going on. Okay. So what's happening is that we've got our kind of clipping, our real-time kind of clipping system going on, and still displaying, it's displaying what it sees because there's fancy stuff with shaders going on. So we probably just need to turn that clipping off. I thought I had turned it off. I bet I didn't turn it off on the landscape mesh though, on the landscape material. So let's see if we can find those key materials here. So clip plane matte, 2, 3, 4. Landscape dissolve. See, there we go. We don't need to be doing the world clip. So that's off. That's off. Can't remember if there's another one. Wow, we've got all sorts of things that are running this world clip system. But again, there'll be fun things to kind of play with in a little while, but not right here. Okay, good. Those are off, so we probably shouldn't see that anymore when we press play, but I still really want to see my landscape. I think if we look in our tiles nulls thing here, we probably don't have a landscape. So let's look at like landscape tile 13, which is like right in the middle. Its end date's 2500, its current date is 0. We're actually starting at 2500. And if we go up here, see, our last and our most recent ends in 1550, so that's why we're not seeing anything. So we need to create a new set of landscape materials. Yep, that's what's going on. That's what's wrong. So I need to create a whole new set of landscapes in this soil info here manager for each one of my 20 tiles, and then put our new piece of landscape in. And then we should see our new piece of landscape appear, so that would be great. Okay. So let's do that. I just need to find my medieval landscape. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 7s, 2 8s, 2 9s, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I just want to make sure I'm not skipping any. Okay, everything needs at least one. Great. So landscape number 1. So now we need 10 of these guys. Period start date for this is going to be, I really don't want this landscape to last very long at all. 2450, and its ending date's 2500. And it's got one object. Oh yeah, because we got topsoil tiles. Yeah. And then regular ones. Okay. So we might need 11. No, we don't actually. We just need 10 at this time. Pardon me, because we're just working on the topsoil. There we go. PC ruins topsoil 1. See? There we go. That's what we needed. Help me remember, the dates are 2450 to 2500. Nope, not that one. Number 2. There we go. So what were those dates? 2450, 2500. So that's not what we need. Oh, well, I need to change the dates on the regular landscape. That's what I need to do. But let's work on this first, since we're here. Yeah, here we go. We're going now. So things have gotten complex enough now that I need to make a user manual for myself that describes what's going on, I guess. Oh, not 2400, 2450. You're letting me down, guys. No, I'm joking about that. Yeah, I need to create a user manual for myself. I don't know if you've ever created a project that kind of gets away from you in terms of its complexity, especially if you've been working on it so long. I mean, when I'm working on a specific project, I tend to remember my way around, but if I'm not working on a specific aspect of the project, I tend to forget what I'm supposed to do. So we're on 7 now. 7's going to need, it's going to need 12 objects here. So Google went offline this morning, apparently. Like, really went off. Wonder what that was about. Usually doesn't happen to them. Like globally, it went down. So that was interesting, I guess. Here we go. We're still working on this, so this needs... So we've really got to get this stuff in. This is going relatively fast. We're almost halfway there. We're just kind of in that awkward miscellaneous phase of this part of the development. Some exciting stuff. Definitely getting the storytelling mechanics down on this. And I know that, like, you shouldn't probably start designing a game from the story first. You should probably get your mechanics in place, I guess. Maybe that's conventional wisdom. But I've been finding that when I'm trying to think about mechanics, I've got to have story attached to it. Otherwise, I don't really understand what interactions need to happen, because I don't understand what part of the story I need to be telling with whatever actions I'm doing. So I guess almost all of my mechanics are, in a certain way, storytelling. But anyway, so good news is that while I think about it all the time, I kind of just go in circles, and it's kind of useless to think about it all the time. But took the dog for a walk yesterday, and it was one of those moments when all of a sudden your head's clear and things just start falling in place. So me and the dog figured out this first part, this tutorial part at least, and the storytelling mechanics. And we think that if we lay down the storytelling mechanics here in the tutorial, that will probably put us in good stead for being able to kind of carry on that same storytelling flow throughout the rest of the game. So I'm interested to see if that is indeed what happens. So it definitely feels like the gameplay loop goes in phases, which I'm kind of pleased with as well. So there's kind of a discovery phase, a rebuilding phase, and then there's a kind of narrative discovery phase. So we're in the discovery and rebuilding phase right now, but this is helping me understand the story, is helping me to kind of figure out how I need to reconfigure this tutorial section to be a little bit better at storytelling. And that's also helping me focus on what I need to be working on versus kind of just fixing stuff that's generally broken or generally a little bit wobbly. So it's all good. So me and the dog, we figured out game design. I'm pretty sure we've done it correctly. No, I don't know. But anyway, it's exciting. And I even wrote it all down. Now whether I can actually interpret that, my scribbling's not quite sure. This is all part of the fun. This is why we love it. I promise we're almost there. We're on tile number 18 out of 20. And that one's done, so now we're on tile number 19. And tile 19 needs 2 objects as well. And tile number 20. Nope. Tile number 20. Gracious. And it needs topsoil 20. There we go. Okay, this may wreck everything. Who knows? We'll find out. Now I'm going to go back in, and we've got to find all of the regular medieval fill soil, and we've got to give it a date. Roman topsoil. Iron Age topsoil. Where's our fill? Where's that gone? Mesolandscape base soil. Okay. Mesolandscape topsoil. Neolandscape dirt only goes to minus 2000. That's not what we want. Ah, here we go. The Iron Age Neolandscape dirt. That's our latest period of dirt. Okay, so the medieval fill needs to carry on to 2500. Iron Age topsoil. Iron Age Neo-landscape dirt. Wonder where my Roman fill went. Well, anyway, that bit of soil can't go to 500, it's got to go to 2500. So that's what we're looking for. Get rid of the topsoil. Yeah, that's the way that works. Okay, so we've got 2 things to fix. If we want our soil to be showing up correctly. There we go. It's long-lived. But our medieval topsoil also has to go to 2500. No, not our medieval topsoil. Stupid me. Medieval topsoil is only going to go to 1550. It's the fill. It's the fill which goes longer, but I don't seem to have that fill in place. Nice. That has medieval fill. Alright, I seem to have missed a few tricks. Oh well. Medieval topsoil, medieval fill. Oh, well, maybe my medieval fill. Oh, that's why. I didn't miss any tricks. My medieval fill just doesn't extend over the entire landscape. We might need to have some Roman fill in place too. But I don't know if I did put the Roman fill in. Okay, 2500. Keep losing my place. So medieval fill, 2500. Iron Age Neo Landscape Dirt, 2500. Medieval fill, 2500. Ooh. That's really goes a long time. Anyway, obviously there are some issues with the architecture of the game here as far as just ease of use at editor time, and that's because we're flying by the seat of our pants. We are doing this, we are discovering what we need to be doing and what we need to not be doing as we go. So, hence all of this redundancy. But I feel like we're getting closer to where we actually need to be. Which is a demo. And once the demo's in place, then most of the features of the game will be locked down. We'll have a much better grasp on what it is we need to... Ooh, that's not it. We'll have a much better grasp on things. Hopefully things will go a little bit more smoothly. Be able to streamline things here. But it's all about discovery. That's what the fun is on this. Seeing how far we can push things. Medieval topsoil, but maybe we don't have medieval topsoil anywhere else. There's our Roman landscape dirt. Well, we may have to go back and fix that. So the whole idea about the whole design of the kind of editor-based architecture of the game was to try to make this not as easy as possible, obviously. Why would we do that? But instead was to try to make this as flexible as possible, because I kind of knew that I didn't quite know what I wanted. And I kind of wanted any individual object to be able to recombine with any other object, to give me kind of maximum temporal and spatial flexibility to just kind of create gameplay on the fly, or indeed for the player to create gameplay on the fly. So kind of not emergent, but combinations and things are emerging without me actually having to track how everything's going to interact, because I'm not that smart. But what that means is that I end up with a really broad, very general, and fingers crossed, robust framework. Problem is there are just too many controls, and I need to figure out how to clarify it better for myself. So, got some ideas on that, but we still don't know. Alright, what's going to happen now when it finally enters play? Still loading. No dirt is what happens. Well, that's a shame. Okay, the medieval topsoil graves happen, and that's cool. But what I really want to see is the medieval topsoil all appearing here. I want to see all of these tiles showing up. And they're not. Why aren't they? Did I turn them off on purpose, or did they get turned off? I may have turned them off on purpose. I can hear my graphics card winding up. Alright, you. There's some. That helps. Turn on some Iron Age stuff too. That Iron Age stuff survives. There goes the snowplow. Alright, Neolithic stuff's going, Iron Age stuff's going. Let's turn on the Roman fill. Now the big trick is going to be whether this Roman fill stays on when we press play. I don't... yeah. There's the medieval fill. So let's see if all this stuff stays on. Okay, that is our complete landscape. Yeah, that's better. I don't need the medieval topsoil tiles on yet. Okay, let's see what happens now when we press play. Apparently I get my graphics card working pretty hot. It's another indication I need to do some optimization somewhere. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. Hey, look, we got some landscape. That's nice. Let's see what happens when we... Okay, that looks a little bit better. Still got some issues. There we go. Very good. Okay, so that's looking a little bit more like what we want it to look like. So that's good. Okay, so maybe tomorrow... Ooh, that's very bright. Maybe tomorrow I'll try to figure out why this isn't rebuilding at the right speed. And I'll work on that so that'll be ready and cleared out for us by Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I'll maybe have some of these other bugs worked out as well, and we can kind of start working on the narrative rearrangement of just this section. And I've got a kind of surprise coming. Not sure we'll have it by the end of the week, but yeah, there'll maybe be something interesting coming. So anyway, we got quite a lot figured out. I'm pretty pleased with that. So there we go. We've got some rebuilt tracery. Perpendicular stuff doesn't look quite as pretty as the curvy decorated stuff, but still not too bad. So we'll leave it there, and we'll come back in, and on Wednesday we'll keep working on this rebuild stuff and see where we get. So anyway, thank you very much for joining in today, and we do hope that you have a great day, and we'll see you on Wednesday morning. All right, everybody. Until Wednesday. Bye.